Hi there, future teacher, and welcome to this general curriculum, exam number 78, Language Arts and Social Studies Practice Test, proudly presented by teacherpreps.com, the number one choice for test prep to pass your U.S. teacher certification exam. The general curriculum exam is a requirement for people who want to become a licensed teacher in the state of Massachusetts. This exam includes two different subtests, and while taking Subtest 1, you'll receive a total of 60 multiple choice questions. The questions that we'll cover in this video lesson are all about Subtest 1, including language arts and history. Now, in order to help you get totally prepared, this practice test will guide you through a simulation for the types of questions you can expect to see on test day. If, however, you're feeling overwhelmed about preparing for this important exam, give yourself the all-access test prep that includes everything you need to pass your teacher certification exam with ease, including video lessons for busy students that help you study faster, study guides written in a non-fluff, bullet point style, interactive activities that help you master the technical vocabulary, and best of all, timed practice tests that simulate what you'll receive on exam day. Just visit teacherpreps.com now, click the blue button in the top right corner labeled Get Test Prep Now to give yourself everything you need to pass in one place so you can ace your upcoming teacher certification exam. Without further ado, let's begin this practice test. For each item, I'll read the question, you pause the video and select the most appropriate answer. Then I'll flip to the next page in order to discuss the correct solution and provide an explanation. So let's begin. Which of the following best explains the relationship between phonemic awareness and phonological awareness in early literacy development? Pause the video and then I'll say the correct response. The answer is B. And phonemic awareness is a specific type of phonological awareness that involves the ability to distinguish individual phonemes within spoken words, which is a more refined skill within the broader category of phonological awareness. Next, which distinction is critical for understanding the development of reading skills in young children? Pause the video and come back for the answer. The answer is A. Understanding the distinction between phonemic awareness, the ability to hear and manipulate phonemes, and the alphabetic principle, which is the understanding that letters and letter patterns represent the sounds of spoken language, is crucial for effective reading instruction. Here we have the next question. Which skill is considered more advanced along with phonological awareness continuum? Answer C. Segmenting multisyllabic words into syllables requires a more advanced phonological awareness than recognizing word boundaries or producing rhymes. Which activity best supports preschool children in understanding that print carries meaning? Have a look at the answer options below, pause the video, and come back when you're ready. All right, the correct answer is C. Pointing to words as they are read aloud helps children connect spoken and written language, illustrating that print carries meaning. What is a fundamental concept of print that preschool children should learn to prepare for reading? The correct answer is D. Teaching children that text is read from left to right in English is critical as it forms the basis for understanding print directionality, which is a fundamental print concept. Which approach is most effective in teaching kindergartners letter knowledge? The correct answer is B. Interactive letter matching games actively engage children in learning both the names and shapes of uppercase and lowercase letters, enhancing their letter knowledge through participation. Next question. Which activity best supports kindergartners in developing letter-sound correspondence, crucial for beginning decoding? The correct answer is A. Interactive games involving matching letters to their corresponding sounds actively engage students in learning the sounds associated with each letter, foundational for beginning decoding skills such as blending sounds to form words. Next one. What is an effective evidence-based instructional strategy to teach letter-sound correspondence to first graders? Correct answer? C. Flashcards with letters and images that represent the sounds of the letters provide visual and auditory cues that help refine letter sound correspondence, which is an essential skill for decoding words. How does encouraging phonetic spelling in early learners reinforce their emergent literacy skills? Correct answer? B. Phonetic spelling allows children to apply their knowledge of phonetic awareness and the alphabetic principle by encouraging them to write words as they sound, reinforcing the connection between sounds and letters. Next question. A first grade teacher is planning differentiated instruction to support students' phonemic awareness. The following table lists different activities assigned to the students based on their initial assessment results. Take a look at the table below. The question asks which activity best suits students who need to improve their basic phonemic awareness skills. Pause the video and come back when you're ready. The correct answer is A. Phoneme segmentation games focus on identifying individual sounds in words, which is a fundamental skill for students beginning to develop phonemic awareness, making it most suitable for those needing to improve at a basic level. Next, the table below describes different classroom activities designed to enhance the interrelationship between oral language and literacy development among kindergartners. Have a look at the table below. The question asks, which activity directly supports both the development of critical thinking and speaking? The correct answer? B. Accountable talk involves structured discussions requiring students to think critically and articulate their thoughts clearly, directly targeting and enhancing critical thinking and speaking skills. Next question. How does a robust oral vocabulary facilitate the decoding process in young readers? Is this A, B, C, or D? Correct answer? C. A strong oral vocabulary provides children with prior knowledge of word meanings, which supports their ability to recognize and decode those words in print more quickly and accurately. Next question. What role does oral language play in the construction of meaning from text? Take a look at the answer options below. Pause the video, come back when you're ready. Correct answer? C. Oral language skills enhance a reader's ability to connect and integrate what they have read and with how they communicate verbally, facilitating deeper comprehension and constructing meaning from the text. Next one, why is introducing simpler phonics patterns and high frequency words important before more complex ones? Correct answer? B. Introducing simpler phonics patterns and common high frequency words early helps establish a foundational skill set that students can build as they encounter increasingly complex reading materials. Next question. Which term describes a pair of consonants that together make a single sound different from their individual sounds? A, B, C, or there's an A down there. Should be D. All right, let's have a look at the correct answer here is D, consonant digraph. Now, a consonant digraph is a pair of consonants that create a single sound distinction from individual sounds such as the SH in ship or the CH in chart. Moving on, what does the term R-controlled vowel refer to in phonics instruction? Correct answer. D. An R-controlled vowel refers to a vowel whose sound is influenced by the following R changing its pronunciation, such as in car or horse. Let's continue. Miss Lee is preparing a lesson on high frequency words and inflectional morphemes for her first grade class. She plans to focus on suffixes s and ed. The following table lists the activities she intends to use. Take a look at the table and the question down below. Come back when you're ready for the answer. Correct answer here is B, sentence completion activities where students use words with ed suffix in order to help them understand its application in past tense formation, which enhances their grasp of how this inflectional morpheme functions in context. Next question, which strategy best helps students use syntactic clues to understand homophones in connected text? Correct answer is C. Now, teaching students to analyze sentence structure allows them to use syntactic clues effectively, helping them discern the correct meaning and pronunciation of homophones based on their context within a sentence. Next question. The table below shows activities a teacher uses to connect decoding and encoding skills. Take a look at the table, read the question down below, and come back when you're ready for the answer. Here we go. Correct answer is B. Interactive writing involves students actively encoding words by writing, which reinforces their phonics knowledge and allows assessment of how they decode words through their spelling choices. Mr. James observes that his first grade students struggle to blend sounds to form words during reading sessions. So he decides to integrate more phonics focused activities into his lessons. He plans to use a variety of texts, including decodable books and shared reading sessions, to enhance his students' phonics skills. Take a look at the answer options below and complete the correct response. Correct answer is D. Interactive phonics games and activities can help students practice blending sounds in a fun and memorable way, thereby reinforcing their understanding and retention of phonics concepts. During a shared reading session, Mrs. Diaz points out phonics patterns and asks students to find similar patterns in their decodable books. She emphasizes the importance of recognizing these patterns to improve their reading fluency. What is the primary purpose of using both decodable and shared texts in Mrs. Diaz's strategy? Look at the answer options down below. Come back when you're ready for the solution. Correct answer A. Using decodable and shared texts allows Mrs. Diaz to balance controlled phonics practice with exposure to natural language. This helps students apply phonics skills in varied contexts, enhancing their ability to decode and recognize words automatically. Next question. Which strategy best supports the development of high frequency word recognition in beginning readers? Correct answer. B. Word walls provide a visual reference that helps beginning readers frequently review and reinforce their recognition of high frequency words, supporting their reading development. Next, in Miss Cheng's first grade classroom, she monitors her students' whisper reading sessions to provide immediate corrective feedback and support. This practice primarily aims to improve. Correct answer is C. Whisper reading allows students to practice phonics and decoding skills while receiving teacher support, enhancing their ability to sound out and recognize different words. Next, the table below shows strategies Mrs. Mendez uses for differentiated phonics instruction. Have a look at the table and the question down below and come back when you're ready for the answer. Correct answer here is C. Multisensory phonics involves using visual, auditory, and kinesthetic activities to teach phonics, which is especially beneficial for students with disabilities by accommodating various learning needs. Next question. Which strategy effectively teaches students the meaning and spelling of the prefix re? Correct answer here is letter D. Discussing the prefix re as meaning again and applying it through practical examples helps students understand and remember its usage, promoting better spelling and word recognition skills. The table below outlines activities designed to teach different morphemes. Take a look at the table, read the question, come back for the solution. Correct response, B. Matching suffixes to root words allows students to see how these suffixes change the meaning of the base words, enhancing their understanding of how derivational morphemes actually function. What is an effective method for teaching the orthographic rule of dropping the silent E when adding a suffix that starts with a vowel? Correct response, A. Demonstrating the rule through practical examples and guided practice enables students to understand and apply the rule of dropping the silent E when a suffix beginning with a vowel is added, promoting accurate spelling. As third graders advance in reading, the ability to apply phonics rules effectively aids their literacy primarily because it helps them to. Correct answer, D. Effective application of phonics rules enables third graders to decode and read unfamiliar words correctly, utilizing their knowledge of sound letter correspondences. This skill is essential for improving reading accuracy and fluency. Up next, we have a fourth grade teacher is assessing students' skills in breaking down multisyllabic words into their component syllables. Which of the following words presents the greatest challenge for syllable segmentation? Correct response, letter C, microscope. Next up, which task best demonstrates a fifth grader's advanced phonological awareness skills? Correct solution, letter C. Manipulating phonemes in a word like thrown to create thrown by changing the vowel sound demonstrates a high level of phonological awareness. This task involves complex phoneme manipulation, which is a skill that indicates an advanced understanding of the altering of individual sounds within words. Next, after students demonstrate proficiency in phoneme manipulation, in which activity or what activity could further develop their vocabulary comprehension? Correct solution is letter D. Exploring word roots and affixes through interactive games can significantly enhance vocabulary comprehension by helping students understand how words are formed and connected, which builds their phonemic awareness skills. Next up, for students who can identify and manipulate phonemes, which activity would best support their understanding of the alphabetic principle? Correct solution here is letter A. Matching letters to sounds using flashcards directly supports the alphabetic principle by reinforcing the connection between phonemes and graphemes, which is essential for developing reading and spelling skills. Next up, what should teachers introduce to students who can segment phonemes to improve their decoding skills? Correct answer, letter A. This helps students apply their understanding of sounds to real reading contexts, enhancing their ability to decode words efficiently. A preschool teacher gathers the children in a circle and holds up a big book, pointing to the words and illustrations as she reads aloud. This activity primarily supports emergent reading development by, if you said letter C, you're correct. This helps through the teacher's demonstration of reading left to right. Children learn the directionality of print. During a literacy center activity, pre kindergarten students use magnetic letters to match the letters they see on picture cards. This activity is most beneficial for A, B, C, or D. Come back when you're ready for the answer. That would be letter A. Children enhance their understanding of letter sound relationships by associating the visual form of letters with their corresponding sounds. In a kindergarten classroom, students engage in a choral reading activity, following along with a teacher as she reads a poem aloud. This practice is particularly effective for letter B. Choral reading provides opportunities for students to hear fluent reading modeled and to practice reading aloud with expression and accuracy. Next up, during a guided reading session, a first grade teacher asks students to use magnetic letters to build words they encounter in the text. This activity primarily supports students. Correct response is letter D. By actively manipulating letters to form words from the text, students apply phonics skills and decoding strategies, essential for reading fluency and comprehension. In a literacy center, kindergarten students sort picture cards based on initial sounds. This activity is most beneficial for developing students. Correct response, letter B. By sorting picture cards based on initial sounds, students practice phonological awareness, specifically phonemic awareness, which is crucial for developing decoding skills and phonics knowledge. A second grade teacher introduces a word wall featuring high frequency words commonly found in grade level texts. The primary purpose of the word wall is to support students. Correct response is letter C. The word wall supports students' spelling skills by providing visual reinforcement of high frequency words, aiding in their retention and application in writing tasks. Next up, in a second grade classroom, students participate in a word sorting activity where they categorize words based on their vowel sounds, such as long A versus short A. This activity primarily supports students' development in. Correct response is letter D. The word sorting activity helps students recognize common patterns and word families, which enhances their ability to decode and comprehend words with similar phonetic structures. Next up, we have during a literacy center rotation, kindergarten students engage in a letter sound matching activity where they match pictures with corresponding initial letter sounds. This activity primarily supports students' development in. Correct response is letter A. By matching pictures with initial letter sounds, students practice phonemic awareness by identifying individual phonemes, which is crucial for developing phonics skills and decoding words. A third grade teacher incorporates word study activities where students analyze and sort words based on their prefixes and suffixes. This instructional approach primarily supports students' development in. Correct response is letter C. Students develop phonics skills and decoding strategies by analyzing and sorting words based on prefixes and suffixes, which are essential for reading fluency and comprehension. In a first grade phonics lesson, students are taught to identify the initial sound of words using picture cards. Which of the following skills does this activity primarily target? Correct response is B. This activity primarily targets phonemic awareness as students focus on identifying individual phonemes called speech sounds at the beginning of words, which is essential for developing phonics skills and decoding words. During a literacy center activity, second grade students work on constructing compound words using word cards. This activity primarily supports students' development in. Correct response, letter D. By constructing compound words using word cards, students develop an understanding of prefixes and suffixes, which enhances their vocabulary and decoding skills by recognizing word parts and their meanings. Next up, a phonics instructor is teaching students about vowel teams. Use the table below to answer the question that follows. Take a look at the table and the question. Come back when you're ready for the answer. The correct answer here is letter C. The underlined phonics element in the word stir, IR, is a vowel team. A vowel team, remember, is a sequence of two or more letters that represent a single vowel sound. For example, the OA in boat. In a third grade classroom, students participate in a vocabulary building activity that categorizes words based on synonyms and antonyms. This activity primarily supports students' development in. Correct answer, letter D. By categorizing words based on synonyms and antonyms, students expand their receptive and expressive vocabularies, which enhances their understanding and usage of words in contexts. During a literacy center rotation, fifth grade students engage in a word study activity to analyze word roots and affixes to determine the meanings of unfamiliar words. This instructional approach primarily supports students' development in. Correct response, letter A. By analyzing word roots and affixes, students develop an understanding of word parts and their meanings, which enhances the student's vocabulary and decoding skills by recognizing word structures and their associated meanings. A fourth grade teacher incorporates a word building activity where students construct compound words using word cards. This activity primarily supports students' development in. Correct response here is letter D. By constructing compound words using word cards, students develop an understanding of prefixes and suffixes, which enhances their vocabulary and decoding skills by recognizing word parts and their meanings. Next question. In a second grade classroom, students engage in differentiated reading instruction. Which of the following approaches best supports the needs of a struggling reader with phonemic awareness? Correct answer is letter B, providing explicit instruction on the alphabetic principle, which emphasizes the letter sound relationships, directly addresses the foundational skill of the phonemic awareness, helping struggling readers develop the necessary skills to recognize and manipulate individual sounds in words. During a first grade phonics lesson, students are introduced to consonant blends. Which of the following letter combinations is an example of a consonant blend? Correct response is letter A. The SH is a consonant blend representing two consonant sounds, SH or sh, blending together at the beginning of a word, such as shop or shoe. A fourth grade teacher is planning a phonics lesson on vowel teams. Which of the following pairs of letters represents a vowel team? Correct response is letter C. EA represents a vowel team as seen in words like beach and team, where the two letters together produce a single vowel sound. Here, in that case, is E. Which of the following sets of words would be most appropriate for introducing students to morphemic analysis? Correct response is letter D. It includes words with inflectional affixes, such as the ed or ing at the end, which are suitable for introducing students to the concept of morphemic analysis. Students can analyze the base word and the added affixes to understand how they alter the meaning or function of the word. In teaching a unit about Civil War, which activities best encourage students to develop a deep understanding of the material? The correct response is letter D, facilitating a simulation of a civil war where students play different roles. Which of the following primary sources would provide the most authentic insight into life during the Great Depression? Correct response is letter C. Diaries or letters from individuals living during the Great Depression. To help students understand diversity within society, which teaching method would be most effective? Correct response? Letter A. Teaching about the customs and traditions of different cultures. Which innovation had the biggest impact on communication and industry in the 19th century? Correct response? Letter B. The invention of the telegraph. The Renaissance is best known for what specific cultural advancement? Correct response? Letter C. A rebirth and advancement in arts and learning. Which geographical feature significantly contributed to the cultural isolation of ancient China? Correct response? Letter A. The Gobi Desert. Which geographic tool is best suited to accurately display the population density of different countries? Correct response? A thematic map. Which amendment from the U.S. Constitution specifically protects citizens' right to freely practice their religion? Correct response? Letter A. First Amendment. Which Supreme Court case upheld the constitutionality of segregation in public facilities given they were separate but equal? Correct response? Letter B. Plessy v. Ferguson. What does the concept of supply and demand predict in a market economy? Correct response? Letter C. The price equilibrium of goods and services. Which teaching strategy promotes active learning in a social studies lesson about the American Revolution? Correct response? Letter A. Conducting a role play of the Boston Tea Party. To evaluate elementary students' understanding of democratic principles, a teacher could. Correct response? Letter B. Ask students to participate in a mock election. Which architectural feature is commonly associated with ancient Rome? Correct response? Letter C. Arch and dome structures. In the context of American history, the term manifest destiny refers to. Correct response? Letter A. The belief in American expansion across the continent. Select the accurate climate zone description for the Sahara region. Correct response, letter D, hot desert climate. Which geographical factor directly influenced the agricultural practices in ancient Egypt? Correct response, letter B, the Nile River floods. In the American political system, the principle of checks and balances is implemented to. Correct response, letter A, ensure a balanced distribution of powers across all branches of government. What was the primary purpose of the American Bill of Rights? Correct response, letter B, to protect individual liberties from government intrusion. Which economic concept is demonstrated when a toy's price increases due to its high demand during the holiday season? Correct response, letter C, law of demand. Which of the following best describes the function of money as a medium of exchange? Correct response, letter D. Money facilitates the exchange of goods and services between businesses and consumers. What geographic term is used to describe the Earth's 7 major land areas? Correct response, letter A. Continents. Which woman played a significant role in the woman's suffrage movement in the early 20th century? Correct response, letter C. Susan B. Anthony. Which branch of the U.S. government has the power to declare war? Correct response, letter B. Legislative branch. What basic principle of the U.S. Constitution means that government power is split between the federal and state governments? Correct response, letter D. Federalism. To evaluate a student's understanding of the cause and effect relationship within a historical event, a teacher could best achieve this by asking the student to. Correct response, letter C. Write an essay explaining the series of events. What economic term describes a situation where supply and demand are equal? Correct response, letter A. Equilibrium. Which explorer is credited with discovering America in 1492? Correct response, letter B. Christopher Columbus. What are the 5 major oceans on Earth? Correct response, letter B. Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Arctic, and Southern. Which First Amendment right allows citizens to request a change in governance? Correct response, letter D. Right to petition. In teaching the concepts of needs and wants to second graders interactively, the teacher should. Correct response, letter C. Conduct an activity involving identification of their own needs and wants. The tool used by governments to manage the economy's money supply and interest rates is known as. Correct response, letter A, monetary policy. The American Civil War was fought between. Correct response, letter A, the North and the South. Which U.S. document outlines the structure and functions of the federal government? Correct response, letter D, the U.S. Constitution. What are the lines on a globe or map that run from the North Pole to the South Pole called? Correct response, letter B, longitude lines. The historical era referred to as the Roaring Twenties in America is primarily associated with. Correct response, letter A, the economic prosperity. Which principle of democracy states that the government's power is derived from the people? Correct response, letter C, popular sovereignty. Which geographical feature forms a natural border between the United States and Mexico? Correct response, letter B, the Rio Grande River. A fourth grade teacher is teaching about the American Revolution. What is an appropriate way for her to assess students' understanding of this concept? Correct response, letter C. Have students draw a timeline of events leading to the American Revolution. What economic system is characterized by private ownership of capital goods, private investment, and a competitive marketplace that determines success and failure? Correct response, letter A. Capitalism. Which approach allows students to explore their local community and develop an understanding of how their community works? Correct response, letter D. Community study approach. In the context of economics, what is the definition of supply? Correct response, letter B. The amount of product producers are willing and able to produce. A map scale is useful for. Correct response is letter C, determining the actual distance between 2 points on the map. Which of the following events triggered the start of World War I? Correct response, letter A, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The use of field trips in teaching can effectively. Correct response is letter B, provide students with first-hand experiences. Inflation refers to a or an. Correct response is letter C, increase in overall level of prices in an economy. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution protects. Correct response, letter D, freedom of speech. Earth's rotation results in? Correct response, letter A, the rising and setting of the sun. The Great Migration of the United States refers to the movement of? Correct response, letter B, African Americans from the rural South to the urban North. Effective social studies instruction promotes? Correct response, letter C. If you're feeling overwhelmed about preparing for your important exam, give yourself the all-access test prep that includes everything you need to pass your teacher certification exam with ease. Just visit teacherpreps.com now, click the blue button in the top right corner labeled Get Test Prep Now so you can ace your upcoming teacher certification exam.